Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all well today. Should be a fun one because Captain Darling is going to talk to you all about Batman, which is a crossover that I suspect not many people are anticipating, but here we are. Because Batman is, by this point, a very, very old character, right? Been around for many, many decades, and of course, with a character of that age, you end up having to reinvent the character, both tonally, characteristically, over the years. Over the years, of course, prime examples is you had the Batman and Robin film, somewhat infamous film from the 1990s, and then you had the much more acclaimed Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's film from the late 2000s. And of course, they're very, very, very different. But it's a comic book character. You also have the opportunity with a character like that to do things a little more zany, a little more out there. Personal favourite of mine being the Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Absolute cinema. Go watch it. No, I haven't seen it myself, but you should. And so, of course, with all of these things getting a little bit more ridiculous, eventually we've come out with this, which I did not see coming, which was Aztec Batman Clash of Empires. Now, I am unironically going to watch this, and I might even end up doing a segment on it for the podcast. We'll see how it goes. But this was wild to me, absolutely wild to watch this trailer. And I was watching it all the way through, just absolutely beaming at the ridiculousness of it all. On the one hand, I'm glad to see 2D animation still being a thing in the West. That's very nice. I'm kind of sick of the 3D at this point. But the more that you go into it and you look at where it all came from, so this was an entirely Mexican production. And so, of course, them being Mexicans, they decided what they were going to do was they were going to use Batman as a form of comic book race revenge porn, which is, of course, what any sensible people would do if they got their hands on the creativity rights to such a famous superhero. But you can see here from Gizmodo, San Diego's Comic-Con's Aztec Batman trailer explores mythos, culture, and justice in a new light. And it goes on to detail some of the characters and what it's all going to be about. So essentially, the Spanish Empire, literally Cortez himself, is going to come across, kill Batman's Aztec father, and then he's going to flee into the woods, embody the Bat God, and then he's going to basically bring retribution to the Spanish invaders. I also find it really funny just in this article where it says, the film, also known as Batman Azteca Corte de Imperios, the language of Cortez. It's also known by the language of its chief villain because they won. And you have but what the remarkable thing about this is that when you look at the character of Batman, right, he is fighting against, generally in Gotham, against organized crime, right? He's fighting against criminality. Now, he obviously, through different stages and different iterations, is more aligned with the law on some occasions than not, but, generally he has quite a strong friendship, partnership with Commissioner Jim Gordon. And then even if I refer you back to the Batman magnum opus, where he teams up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? That is against the Foot Clan, for those of you who know your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lore, right? A criminal organization. So it's still Batman fighting against crime. And the problem is that the Aztecs don't really represent Batman protecting the moral order, right? I mean, let's start addressing the obvious points here. As James Kirkpatrick says, can't wait for Batman to perform a human sacrifice of a neighboring tribe to make the bat signal appear in the sky. right? And that's the point. They can go there and they can say, oh yeah, but the Spanish, they brought slavery and you know, brutality. It's like, yeah, okay, the Aztecs had those too, and they had human sacrifice, which of course, let's face it, was one of the greatest things that the Spanish Empire ever did, to get rid of. Just sorry, but the human sacrifices will stop. So I'm definitely going to watch this. There is also a character in it that is apparently an Aztec priest who becomes a Joker. And from how I've seen it worded, it sounds like that in his mental fall, his mental collapse, he resorts to sacrifice. But that is obviously absolute pure cope. Because, yes, although I agree that you have to be an absolute Joker-esque lunatic to carry out human sacrifice, let's not forget that that was very much just a normal custom within Aztec society. And so what I'm most looking forward to is seeing how they managed to make the Aztecs the heroes of this story, because obviously they're going to have to whitewash a lot of the crimes committed by the Aztecs. And I just think that this is going to be a great, great story. I think this could be the best Batman ever, to be honest with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. There was even one that I saw where apparently there was a few years ago a ninja version of Batman. But in that, it seems there was a sequel to it as well, where again, he was fighting the Yakuza. So again, he's fighting organized crime. The Spanish Empire was not organized crime. I understand that that is Mexican cope and that that's how they want to portray it. But ultimately, it's just another example of creative lefty lunatics siding with the worst scum that ever lived. And the Aztecs were definitely one of the civilizations that you could characterize in such a way, right? I don't care how advanced their astronomy was. They were brutal barbarians. And frankly, I can't wait to see maybe a Spanish studio make one where Cortez turns into Batman. That's something that I'd really like to see. So if the Spanish could get on that for me, that'd be great.